Yerp, this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching the first episode to Power Book 4, Season 1, Episode 1, and man, it feels so good to cover some actual Power content, and just, I really enjoyed this first episode. I think, off rip, I think this is the strongest out of all the spinoffs so far, as far as the first episode. So with all that being, let's back things up and let's get right into this episode. I won't give you my thoughts at the end, or as we go through. So the episode starts off with Tommy kind of driving, just really having mixed emotions, thinking about everybody from Ghost to like Tyreek and just everything. His whole life kind of just flashes before him, and he's about to commit suicide in a way, but then he kind of snaps out of it and ends up heading to Chicago, and he stops at this house, but then he gets into this his first little altercation with somebody that thinks that he's tough, but he doesn't really know who he's dealing with. He pulls out a knife on Tommy, and Tommy just he just flashes his gun. Are you sure you want to do that? And I like that they kind of made this kind of like a humorous scene, with the whole parking thing. This pops up again later on, but we'll get into that. But this is what really fascinates me. Like, we're diving into Tommy's backstory as he goes to this like old folks home, or this like this old folks home, and you get somebody that might be his grandmother, but we'll get into all that later on in this review, because I find that to be really interesting that we're diving into Tommy's backstory and just kind of getting some of his origins, or just who he is as a person, more of his family. Now, before I continue, shout outs to Jay Moore, man, for popping up on the show, making a cameo. I do wish we will get to see more of him, hopefully. It's going to be interesting to see his live and what he thought about this episode, seeing himself and whatnot. We get introduced to a new character, though, another one of our main characters named Diamond. And he's very respected. He's just getting out of jail and stuff like that, getting out of prison. He used to be like the barber. He has this old head telling him look, man, I don't want you ever to come back here. And it definitely seems like he is in the right mindset as far as wanting to do better, not wanting to kind of get into that lifestyle. We'll get more into that. We get also introduced to his brother Jay, which we will see him later on in this episode. Of course, Tommy has to have a love interest. This is Power. You should expect that by now. Don't really know this chick's name. I don't know if they actually dropped her name, and that's probably going to get revealed later. If they did, let me know in the comments below if I missed that. Tommy gets into another altercation about parking, but now this is where we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of everything, and just the conflict that Tommy's going to have to kind of confront while he's in Chicago, because he's supposed to be heading to LA, but he ends up just stopping at Chicago for many different reasons. So this is our first introduction to the Flynn family. We get introduced to Victor here, and he's about to jump Tommy with a bunch of his boys, but then, Dr. Phil comes in and just stops everything and just says, let him go. He's not doing anything. They respect him. Like this Dr. Phil guy, he respects Tommy. He respects that, he doesn't back down from a fight and whatnot. So that's interesting. Like I said, I don't know his name. I'm just going to call him Dr. Phil right now. So, they didn't say everybody's name in here. Anyways, then we get introduced to two more characters. Walter Flint. This is going to be the big boss here. And if you don't recognize him, he was in Sons of Anarchy. Really dope character on there. We also get introduced to his daughter, Claudia Flynn. And, she kind of just handles the books. Walter doesn't really want her kind of getting involved with just the street end of things, and she seems like she just really wants more control and more power. But she has some other demons within her that I definitely think that we're gonna see flesh out throughout this first season. Now, going back to Tommy and Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil lets Tommy know, like, you don't want to mess with the Flynn family, and Tommy's really not really shook by this at all. He doesn't really care, and it's crazy that looking at Tommy now compared to when we first get introduced to him in the original Power, there's definitely some character growth. He definitely moves differently, but he's still the same Tommy. Now there's definitely going to be some tension between him and Victor, because the chick at the bar obviously had a relationship. They had a relationship, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he finds out that, Tommy is, kind of going around messing with his chick, and it seems like he's kind of overprotective of her, which, yeah, that's going to be some juicy drama, most definitely. Because that leads Tommy to beat up one of Flynn's people's, Simon, because he gets kind of a little bit too disrespectful with the bar lady. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it wouldn't be Power if we didn't have sex scenes. And these were pretty graphic sex scenes. I haven't seen some graphic sex scenes in Power in a very long time. You have Claudia, doing her thing, snorting whatever the hell those drugs were off a chick and stuff like that, getting real wild, while Tommy and this chick from the bar are getting it done. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you had to throw that in there, but I like that there doesn't seem to be that soap opera tone. At least they toned it down to like a 5, where when you go to like something like Power Book 2, it's just in your face constantly, and just, it feels like a complete soap opera. The whole tone of this show just feels completely different. It feels more like Power, that grittiness, and I really like it. So Tommy confronts Victor, or Vic, whatever you want to call him. And pretty much this is where Tommy really shows how smart he is and how far ahead he is with certain people. And he really gets over on Vic here, because Tommy wants Vic to show him pretty much who is his connect and whatnot. It ends up being these like two tweakers and stuff, like these two junkies, and they obviously don't know what they're doing. But in the process, you got Diamond's brother getting finessed and also Vic getting finessed. So, he's causing issues, and I can't wait to see him and Diamond kind of interact. We're probably going to get that interaction in the next episode. Then we get more of Walter Flynn's kids. They're Claudia and Vic. And these two are very different, but it seems like they're very close. Their mom passed away. I'm wondering if we're going to get more backstory on that. But I'm calling it right now. I don't think Vic is going to survive that long. I think Claudia is going to go down a dark path, because she just is hungry for power, no pun intended. So as, Tommy's kind of doing his Googles and stuff, trying to figure out who this Flint guy is and just who he's connected to. He also sees an article about Diamond and how he is the leader of the CBI, the Chicago Boys Incorporated. So we get a little ties to that. He ends up going back to the old folks home to go visit his grandma real quick. But then when he leaves, he obviously feels that he's being followed. And he's being followed by none other than his actual blood brother, because Kate got around, obviously. And I'm really fascinated by that, and I want to see where they take that, who this guy really is, because he seems like he's on the straight and narrow, and that's going to be an interesting kind of dynamic going on with these two. So let me know how you guys feel about Tommy actually having a black brother. So now we have Jay and Diamond going to this barbershop, and Jay pretty much surprises Diamond by saying like, yo, I bought this all outright. This is yours. You know, this is yours. You don't gotta pay me back or nothing. And Diamond lets his brother know, like, I'm not trying to kill nobody, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. That's not what we're about. We gotta kind of do things differently. We got this cop, which I'm thinking that he's obviously going to be some type of crooked cop or something like that, and he's going to be a big issue for Diamond, or he's probably just going to be, hovering around him, making sure he's on the straight and narrow. The episode ends with, Tommy driving, and then he kind of gets boxed in, and all of Flint's people got guns on him, saying like, you got to come with me. He meets the man himself, and they definitely bump heads. I really like this back and forth that they have, because Flynn's like, yo, get the hell out of my city. You don't need to be here. And Tommy's like, yo, I saved your son's life. He owes me in a sense. And I like that when Tommy's driving away, like he's about to leave Chicago and like kind of take his advice. He's like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna make myself comfortable, because something about the city and just, him actually having family still here, I think that's what's keeping him in Chicago, and he wants to kind of build things up for himself. Overall, I really enjoyed this first episode, from the tone to all these different characters. They're not trying to, repeat other things that they've done in Power. This is completely new, and I like the change of setting. You really feel like you're in Chicago. I like, the kind of muted colors compared to something like Raising Kanan, where it's very bright and kind of vibrant. This is kind of like, has more of like a bluish tone going for it. And just, I like that Tommy's out on his own, and we're going to see what he's going to do, who he's going to have in his crew, because he wants to build his own empire and stuff like that. So let me know how you guys feel about this first episode. I think this was the strongest out of all the spinoffs. But until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.